Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle one of the most fundamental shapes out there, the circle. But we're not just going to look at it, we're going to decode it. We're going to find the powerful algebra hiding inside that perfect curve.
Okay, let's dive right in. Before we even think about formulas, let's get back to the core idea. At its heart, a circle is really just a set of points, all of them the exact same distance away from one central point. And that fixed distance? Well, that's what we call the radius.
Yep, that's it. That's the one and only rule. Every single point you can find on the edge of a circle is exactly the same distance from the center. And believe it or not, this one simple concept, well, it builds everything else we're going to talk about.
So, how do we actually turn that idea into math? Well, we bring in an old friend, Pythagoras' theorem. It's really just the distance formula in disguise, right? This is the crucial link. It's what connects the beautiful, simple shape we see with the powerful algebra we can use to describe it.
All right, let's start with the easiest version, the basic blueprint, just to get our bearings. We're talking about a circle that's sitting perfectly at the origin, the point in 0, 0.
And here it is, the big one. X squared plus y squared equals r squared. This right here is the algebraic code for a circle that's centered smack dab at the origin. If you see an equation that looks like this, you know exactly where its center is and what its radius is, no questions asked.
But here's the cool part. This equation isn't just some random letters and numbers someone made up. No way. It's literally just Pythagoras' theorem. Think about it. For any point xy on that circle, you can draw a right-angled triangle. The bottom side is length x. The vertical side is length y. And the hypotenuse? Well, that's the radius, r. So of course, x squared plus y squared has to equal r squared. It's just geometry.
Okay, quick heads up. This is probably the biggest rookie mistake people make. That number on the right side of the equal sign, that's not the radius. It's the radius squared. So if you see an equation that ends with equals 25, the radius isn't 25, it's 5. Super important to remember that.
But, in the real world, circles aren't always so cooperative. They're not always sitting perfectly at 0, 0. So, what happens to our equation when we shift that center somewhere else on the graph?
Well, we just give our equation a little upgrade. We introduce two new letters, a and b. These are going to represent the coordinates of our new center, the point a, b.
So let's put them side by side. On the left, you've got our simple origin-centered circle. On the right, the new general equation. See what's happening? That x minus a part, that's handling the horizontal shift. And the y minus b part takes care of the vertical shift. It's the same exact Pythagorean logic, we're just adjusting for a new starting point.
Okay, now this is super important. You have to watch the signs. It's a classic trip-up. Because the formula has a minus sign built into it, the signs you see in the equation are always the opposite of the center's coordinates. So, if the center is at a positive 2, the equation has x minus 2. If the center is at a negative 3, the equation has y plus 3. Always flip the signs.
All right, now let's tackle something you'll definitely see on a test. What if you get an equation that's a total mess? It's all jumbled up and doesn't look anything like our nice, clean, standard form. How in the world do you find the center and radius then?
So, what if you're staring at something like this? X squared minus 4x plus y squared plus 6y minus 3 equals 0. Yikes. I mean, at first glance, that looks nothing like our x minus a squared format, right? The information we need, the center, the radius, it's all buried inside that jumbled up equation.
So how do we unscramble this egg? The tool we need is a really slick algebraic technique called completing the square. This is what's going to let us turn that mess back into our clean standard form.
Let's break down how it works. First, you get organized. Group all your x terms together and all your y terms together and just punt that lonely constant number over to the other side of the equation. Next, for the x group, you take the number next to the x. In our case, negative 4, you cut it in half and then you square it. You're going to do the same thing for the y group. The crucial third step is to add those new numbers you just calculated to both sides of the equation. That keeps everything balanced. And finally, you can factorize your x group and y group into those perfect little squared brackets we've been looking for.
And voila! After all that, our messy equation magically transforms into this. X minus 2 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals 16. Now we can see everything perfectly. The center? Just look at the brackets and flip the signs. It's 2, negative 3. The radius? Well, r squared is 16, so the radius has to be the square root of that, which is 4. See? All that hidden info is right there in the open now.
Okay, so why does all this algebra even matter? I mean, it's cool that we can find the center, but what's the point? Well, these equations let us do some really cool stuff, like predict how shapes will interact with each other without even drawing them.
So here's a question for you. Let's say you have the equations for two different circles. Can you tell if they're going to intersect, just barely touch, or completely miss each other using only the algebra? The answer is a resounding yes.
And it all comes down to a really simple comparison. All we have to do is calculate two things. First, find the distance between their centers, we'll call that d. And second, just add their two radii together. That's it. Comparing those two values tells you the whole story. This table lays it all out. If the distance d between the centers is bigger than the sum of their radii, well, they're just too far apart to ever meet. They don't intersect. If d is exactly equal to the sum of their radii, they just kiss at one single point. They're touching. And if d is less than the sum of their radii, they have to be overlapping, right? They intersect at 2 points.
And this right here is the absolute power of analytical geometry. It's all about turning these complex visual problems like, do these circles touch, into really simple, clear algebraic comparisons. It gives us predictive power, which is pretty amazing.
And there you have it, our explainer on the equation of a circle. We've basically decoded it, right? We've seen how one simple rule about distance gets turned into a powerful algebraic tool. A tool that lets us describe a circle, find it, and even predict how it's going to behave. So now that you have the code for circles, what other shapes do you think can be described by an equation? Thanks for watching.